Hey everyone, so before I get started on today's video, there's one thing that I do have to note. It is a Jeffree Star palette first impression. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the beauty community at the moment. However, my point of view is that I think all of them are in the wrong. I bought this palette before all the drama started, so I'm still going to get my money's worth out of it. I'm not the type of person that's going to go spend $100 on something and just throw it out because I've boycotted the owner of it. I've spent the money on it. I may as well get my use out of it. If you disagree with that, please just exit out of the video. I have plenty of other videos you can watch that aren't Jeffree Star related. I have plenty of other first impressions that aren't Jeffree Star palettes. I do have Jeffree Star palette impressions that are still to come because I personally really like the formula of Jeffree Star eyeshadows, so I'm still going to continue to use them because I like them and I trust them on my eyes. That's just my personal opinion. With that being said, today I am going to be reviewing the Bloodlust palette. So this is the palette. Well, this is how the palette came. It's in the box. I have opened it just to make sure it wasn't like scratched or anything. Came really well packaged. I actually bought this off Jeffree's website because I've bought off another website before that is supposed to be a Jeffree Star stockist, but I wanted to buy at least one palette off his website so I could make sure it was and compare the quality. So this is the box it comes in. This box feels really flimsy. I'm not the biggest fan of this box, and then the palette is in there. I'm not the biggest fan of this box just because it is kind of flimsy. Like, this really doesn't sit in there properly. Like, and who's really going to keep this? Like, I know that Jeffree's really big on the packaging and stuff, but this is really flimsy and I don't like this. So obviously I've looked at this before. I've also seen reviews. This has been out for ages, but I've wanted this palette for ages just because I love the look of it. It's definitely a collector's item. I love the feel. I love how the velvet has been like pre-moved so it doesn't change when you do that. I love the little crown. He is very good at what he does. I'm just going to peel this off. And I'm going to remove the plastic. This is a very thick piece of plastic. I can't remember what the plastic was like on my blood sugar palette. And then obviously most of you guys would have seen this already. This is the palette. So I definitely think we're going to do a purple look. I might do two different eyes. We'll just see how it goes. Because I do really want to try like this blue and this green. Because they're very different and very interesting. So I'll also do some swatches of the colors that I don't use so we can see what they feel like. I'm just going to quickly conceal, like prime my eyelids. I've got concealer and done my brows just to save a little bit of time. And I'm just going to pop my ColourPop No Filter concealer on my eyelids as a primer. Okay, so now that that's done, so yeah, I've also got lash extensions on, so I won't be sticking on heaps of like a strip lash. I'll just kind of fill some of these gaps. Looking at this, there's not really like a nice sort of transition-y shade, and also to me, like this red shade just does not make sense. I think I'm going to take the shade Deviant, which is just a nice like light mauvey lilac-y purple, and I'm just going to pop that in the crease just on this eye. Oh, it comes off a bit darker on the actual eyelid. Like, can you see the color of it on my brush? And then the color of it on my actual eyelid is quite a bit darker actually. And then I'm gonna take the shade, see, like, to do a full purple look, right, there's not a lot of variation, there's not a lot you can do, which that's my problem. I think I'm gonna take the shade Vivid Moon and then just pop that into the crease as well. And then I'm going to take the shade Deviant again, just to help blend out that edge. And then I'm going to take more of Vivid Moon again, just to build up the intensity. I am going to deepen this even more. I'm now going to take the shade High King, and that's going to go even deeper in the crease. I also think you could have put like 4 extra shades in here. I don't know why my camera is making this look really patchy. I promise you it's not that patchy in real life. Like, it still is, just because I haven't intensified it enough. But my camera is making it look very patchy, and it's not patchy in real life at all. And I'm just going to go back in with the other brush just to blend the edge. Then I'm going to take Blood Queen, which is like the darkest, deepest purple shade. And I'm going to concentrate this on the outer corner. Now, purples are really hard to layer on top of each other as well. you often find that once you start to layer purples on top of each other, like it just stops sticking at one point. So I'm layering these quite a lot and they are holding up pretty well. So we'll see what happens after this one. I'm only going to bring this one about halfway in. Then I'm going to go back in with Hiking and just help blend that a bit further. So they've actually blended together quite well. My camera is, from my monitor, what I can see, it looks kind of patchy, but it's not. I'm just going to swatch these just to see what they look like. Okay, so this is Beauty Sleep, and I think I'm going to use that to like highlight my inner corner and brow bone. Take the Crown. So Take the Crown is just like a metallic version of Deviant. You can see that. Betrayal is the other one that I think I might use. Oh, that one's very crumbly. And that is still a beautiful shade. So I think what we might do is we'll use Take the Crown on the inner sort of half or third. So now I'm going to take Betrayal and I'm just going to use the other side of my brush. This is a very crumbly shade. I'm just going to take that the rest of the way across. These two blend together quite nicely actually. I'm actually going to bring this further in. Now I feel like these two shades are going to work better on my finger. However, I want to try them with a brush first. So I'm just wiping off my brush and I'm going to take Pink Magic first. Yeah, I definitely think this is going to work better with my finger. And I'm going to struggle because I have really long nails, but we'll make it work. Yeah, it definitely picks up a lot more on my finger. I don't know if this would stick better without any eyeshadow being there. But it's really not sticking to my eye that well. I guess that's a bit better. It's just, you look at it in that and that's not, I don't know what it is. Like even looking at it on my finger, like it's definitely pretty. And I feel like now I'm layering so much on that it's just gonna go a bit crumbly. And I definitely don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna take the Crown again and just sort of overlap that front bit. I don't know what it is about this Take the Crown shade, but bits of it are flaking into my eye and it stings. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go in with Hiking and just blend in the crease just because some of that shimmer's come too far up and I don't want it up that high. I really want to use that Wet Jewel shade. I wonder how it would. It just doesn't pick up nicely on the brush. I only want a tiny bit of this right in the center, although you can definitely see that shade. So that worked better on this sort of brush, like a little pencil brush. And that is Wet Jewel, the like metallic-y pink shade. I think that's it for this eye. I think that's all I'm going to do. We've used most of the purple shades now. So now I'm going to do the other eye. I have no idea what I want to do on the other eye. I think I want to use like, maybe we'll do like a green eye, like a greeny bluey eye. So I'm just going to quickly dust off, like clean these brushes. They actually cleaned way easier than I thought. My brushes are a bit stained because obviously I haven't done like a deep clean, and a deep clean will get the staining out, but that purple came out pretty easy. So that's a bonus. I'm going to take Your Majesty first, which is this sort of like pale whitey green color. This is definitely a palette I would not recommend if you are just starting in makeup, because even I'm sitting here going, oh, what look am I going to create? Like what other look am I going to create? Like it is sort of like, you look at it and you're like there's certain palettes I can look at and I'm like, oh, I see this look I can do. This one I'm like, yeah, I see one look, which is this. And even that was kind of hard to piece together because the shades just aren't quite right. You can't really see that shade. I didn't think you were going to, and holy, that was very like, there was a lot of kickback in the pan with that one. So now I'm going to go in with Monarchy. I feel like this is going to be more of like this is sort of like the only neutral shade in the palette. Again, you can't really see this shade. And again, it's very like, there's a lot of kickback in the pan with this shade. Like, sometimes I just find a few inconsistencies with these palettes. Like they still perform nicely, just like the pans, like kickback and stuff in the pan can be a bit weird sometimes. So I don't know, that's just something to think about. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with Scandal Water, which is like a periwinkle blue. Is that what you'd call it? Now this one doesn't really pick up on the brushes nicely. Like I'm really trying to break it. I'm actually trying to get it to crumble a little bit because it was just not picking up. So now I'm just going to apply this in the crease. which is going everywhere but the crease. This shade is very hard to work with. Very, very hard to work with. Like, it's just, you can see, like, can you guys see that in there? Like, right in the center, it just doesn't want to, like, grip. Like, it's gripped up higher. It's gripped up here. It's gripped down here. It hasn't gripped right in that crease where I would want it to. I'm going to put a bit of a darker color in there. I want to put this green in here. So then I'm going to take Vile Serpent, this, like, greeny blue shade. And that's going to go on the outer corner. He's nailed the purples in this palette, but I think the other shades are shit, just from the few that I've used. I'm just trying to use this shade just to sort of like fill that gap a little bit. I'm not worried about the blue that's on my eyelid. I'm going to cover that in a minute anyway. I don't mind this shade. I think it would look nicer without that blue underneath it. I definitely think it would be a lot nicer without that blue, but that's okay. I'm going to see if this green, this like same formula will work with a brush. I don't think it's going to, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm just going to now. That's actually kind of working with this brush, this one in particular, because different colors can formulate very differently because of the pigments and stuff you have to use and all that jazz. So I almost want to, just because of the way this is sort of reflecting against each other, I'm not the biggest fan. I almost want to just put like a little bit of this Dungeon shade. It's like a really deep purpley black color. I wonder what it'll actually translate like on the eye. I'm just trying to cover up that greeny blue. I'm going to put that on my lower lash line on this eye, I think. Just don't think it worked quite well. I think that looks a bit better. And now I'm going to just re-intensify this green a little bit. And then I'm also going to take this black, and this black has like purple shimmer through it. So I'm curious to see what it looks like on the eye. I'm going to take this right into the outer corner and I'm going to blend it out a little bit so it's not harsh like that. See, that purple glitter is just gone everywhere. Like, it's not even on my eye anymore. But that's okay. We will just do this. And now I'm going to go in and just blend this out. So that purple glitter will probably just flake everywhere, which is fine. I don't know. I like this palette. Like, I like some of the shades. This is a very hit and miss palette for me. Anyway, I'm going to quickly pop on my foundation, conceal, all that, and powder, and then I'll come back and do the rest of my makeup. So the color balance is a little bit off. Like, the eyeshadows look pretty correct. And I actually am pretty happy with the way this one's come out now that I've cleaned up. I still like this one too. This one's probably more my favorite, but this one looks good now that I've put that darker purpley bluey color over top. I'm just going to finish off my eyes. So for the purple side, I'm literally just going to take, so I'm taking Blood Queen and I'm just running that very close to that lash line. I'm taking it on sort of like a pencil brush just to really pack it up there. And then I'm going to take a blending brush. Okay, so then I'm going to take High King and just use that just to start blending this a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with just Vivid Moon. I'm not even going to bother with the lightest one. And I'm just going to use that just to blend the last bit out. Okay, and then for the other eye, I'm going to take Vile Serpent. Okay, and then I'm also going to just layer straight on top of that with Dungeon, so that when I blend it out, I get a similar color to the top. I am going to use Scandal Water, even though I don't really like it, but I'm going to use it just to blend these out a little bit. Obviously, it's still there. We are going to put some liner on, so you're still going to see it. You won't be able to see it as much anyway. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, and then going to bronze and blush and highlight. So to bronze, I'm going to use the Australis Sweet Like Chocolate Scented Bronzer. This is in the shade Ganache Gold. It looks like this. And I'm just going to bronze up my cheeks. Give myself some colour back. So to contour, I'm going to use my Tarte's Pro Glow palette. I'm going to take the shade Sculpt. I'm just contouring on my hair. Don't actually know how to function with this much hair. I'm going to take this darker one. Not a lot, just a small amount. I say not a lot and I take that much. Okay, and then to highlight, I'm going to take the Tarte's Pro Glow palette and I'm going to take the shade, I'm going to take a mixture of Strobe and Lit. Highlight my cheekbones with it and just go a little bit over my brows, like above my brows on my forehead. We're going to go on the Cupid's bow, on the tip of the nose, the bridge. I'm then going to highlight my eyes. So I'm going to use Beauty Sleep. I think I'm going to use it on both eyes, to be honest. I'm just hitting above, under the brow bone, just to lift that up some more. And then yeah, I'm just gonna use this on this eye too. All right, so that's the makeup all done. I'm just gonna quickly swatch the shades that I didn't use, which isn't many. So I didn't use, I think, only two. So Royal Pain, which is actually quite a beautiful shade. That's a really pretty shade. I actually really like that color. Switch it again, just build it up a little bit. I really quite like that color. It's very pretty. And then this is Bleeding Heart. This shade isn't as metallic as, like, obviously not the other formulas, but even just of like this shade, like Betrayal, it's not as like shimmery, if you can see what I mean. It's not quite as shimmery. So they're literally the only two shades I didn't use. Everything else I tested, which is crazy to think I just put that many eyeshadows on my face. I'm going to use my Glam Glow Glow Setter. I need to go buy the big version of this. So I'm using the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Bustier. It's just a like cooler toned nude. And I'm just going to add a little bit of like a shimmery gloss in true Jeffree Star fashion. So I'm going to use the Morphe X Jeffree Star that came out with that eyeshadow palette. And I'm going to use the shade Living For It Lip Topper, because this one's a little bit more cool toned with more purple flakes in it. That's the end of today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy. For those of you that are still watching, if anyone is still watching that isn't happy that I uploaded this video, I am sorry. It's just my belief is that they're all in the wrong, and I'm not going to cut off 5 or 6 people or 5 or 6 brands when they're all doing the wrong thing. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you did enjoy, and have a lovely day, night, afternoon, wherever you are. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to maybe leave me a comment and tell me what you want to see next.
I wonder what went wrong today, eh? Why do I feel like I linger between the words to say, eh? To say the words to remember.